So, Marathon finally had its unveiling, and if you want to take part in the actual alpha test, well, you either have to be in the United States of America or Canada. Screw the rest of the world, you don't count. They can only do it for the United States of America and Canada. So if you aren't there, tough luck. But if you're like me and you had a look at the game and checked, well, just saw what it was with the very little gameplay that they showed, I mean, it would have been nice for them to show at least one game being played. It is their first unveiling, but they did more cinematic demonstrations and stuff than anything else. The menus looked atrocious, and quite honestly, it looked like a snooze fest. Now, the actual art design I actually liked. I think the art design was actually pretty cool. It is very Bungie. But outside of that, it just felt like Destiny. Some of the ships looked like the ships from Destiny. I thought I saw the Cabal in there. The gunplay looked like Destiny. I mean, it's not a surprise. It is Bungie after all. They are going to use that source in there, but it does feel like they reused assets. But I don't even care about that because those that have been playing Destiny for the longest time have been used to reused assets, even if this is a new game. The problem that we have today is, what is Marathon, who is it aimed for, and will it succeed? And for Bungie's sake, and for the staff's sake, I hope it does. I genuinely do. It's definitely a product not for me, at least on face value. But you know what, let's have the drop and get into it. Okay folks, so I actually had to watch the trailer, well, the segment that they showed in that 1 hour showing, 3 times. The first 2 times I actually genuinely fell asleep. I mean, I was a little tired, full disclosure, but it was just boring. I just wanted to see the gameplay. I wanted to see what a round would look like. Just something. But the way they actually did it, and as you all know, I've got no care in the world or love for, these cinematic flash demonstrations that we're never going to see in the real world product. We're just not. So I just wanted to see what Marathon was, and we didn't really get to see it. And that's disappointing, because as your first unveiling, you need to kind of go all out. You saw all those people that were super excited, and I think this reveal did them disservice. It absolutely did them a disservice, because I'm sure a lot of man hours have gone into this. Now, for those of you wondering, will this game be a paid product? How much is it going to be? Well, according to Hazardor Gaming, Bungie Marathon, I did say this earlier today as well, I thought it was going to be $40. But apparently it's going to be a fully priced premium product. So that could be anywhere from £70, or, like the Nintendo loyalists will now say with variable product, considering this is a forever game, this should be priced at maybe £500, because if anything, at least Nintendo fans will buy this game, because they support that sort of pricing. Marathon is going to launch as a premium product, meaning players will be asked to pay full price. What that full price means in this day and age right now is anyone's guess. Like I said, it could be £70, it could be £100, it could be £500. It's a forever game. The game comes with a battle pass, because once you've paid for it, that's going to be their main form of monetization to keep making content. It's got 3 maps at launch, so not many, and then the 4th map is going to arrive shortly after launch. Now, to me, that sounds just not great. They're not coming out of the woodworks, firing on all cylinders. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at this as a PvP game and not as an extraction shooter. When you compare it to an extraction shooter, most come with like 1 or maybe 2. So, when you're comparing it to that, it's actually in a better place. So hopefully that will deliver. The game is going to have 18 players on the map. It is a group of 3, so 6 teams of 3 I believe it's going to come out with, and yeah, at the moment that's it. When you look at other extraction shooters where they have many more players, it looks like these maps are going to be a little more confined, a little more smaller, and potentially this could be done because of the console market, trying to appeal to their audience, because in general extraction shooters are kind of engineered towards the PC market. But considering they've kind of missed the boat, missed the opening, missed the kind of heyday of extraction shooters, they're kind of in a position now where the market is so saturated. 10 years ago, when they first thought about Marathon, that was a really good time to release it. Extraction shooters were all the rage. Years ago, when Tarkov launched, or was PUBG an extraction shooter? I don't think so. You know, you look at those games, definitely Tarkov. They were all the rage, right? They were all the rage. Even DayZ, though it wasn't really an extraction shooter, it was kind of like a survival game. I mean, Tarkov pretty much was built, I reckon, off DayZ anyway. I haven't really looked into the whole origins of extraction shooters, so you can see I'm a bit hazy there. But the principle of it still but the principle of it is what matters. It was really popular for a period, and then it kind of just disappeared. The interest in these games have dwindled quite a bit over time. Not that there isn't any demand for it, but it's very saturated now. So Bungie coming in with Marathon and charging a premium price with only 18 players, it might find a niche, and I really hope the game does well. I'm saying this openly. I do want this to do well, purely so the developers don't lose their jobs. But I'm not holding my hopes up, because when I watched the actual trailer that was shown, it was boring. It was really boring. Now this 1 minute 45-second trailer, which in my opinion is actually a lot better than what they were showing, is way more interesting. At least it shows you a lot more snippets of gameplay. But all of these cinematic stuff, I don't care for it. Obviously this is a trailer, so this is going to be doctored in that way, but the reality is they had a whole hour presentation and they didn't really utilize it as well as they could. It just doesn't, this is one of those situations where they had an opportunity to wow the audience, and I didn't see a single person coming out of this. I mean, maybe Xvolt is going to go and buy another 3 copies of this because, that seems to be a thing with him. And even maybe Devin too, right? He might buy another 3 copies of this like he did with Concord. But I really hope that this one won't turn into a Concord. But, I'm seeing a lot of stuff in here that just is almost... They just almost took Destiny and said, right, we're taking what Destiny is and then turning it into something that, well, the origins of this game isn't. This game could have come out as what it was, a single-player shooter, but instead they decided to completely change the game to what it is. I don't know. Overall, I'm a little conflicted on this. I wasn't impressed. Like I said, the first 2 times I tried to watch the actual trailer for this, I did fall asleep. And that's not me insulting the game. That's not me taking the piss out of the game. I just found it that boring. I'm clearly not the target audience for this. It is coming September 23rd, 2025. It is going to be on Xbox as well. And so yeah, the chat available today was all about Marathon and all this. People clearly weren't impressed. And that is mainly due to the fact that Bungie simply just did a bad job in showing this off. Now, I'm not going to say this is as bad as Forspoken when that got showed off, because Forspoken's actually a decent game, but the way it was showed off almost crippled it. I think Bungie, though, at some point while they were making this presentation, must have turned around and said, right, how can we actually make it harder for ourselves to make this game appealing? How can we make it harder for ourselves for people to leave this stream, this reveal, and not know what it is they're buying, not know what the game is like, and be genuinely disinterested and give ourselves a bigger mountain to climb in trying to get, people to buy the game. Don't forget, this is going to be a premium product after all, not a standard product. And that menu interface is just horrible. But hey, I don't know where they're going with this. I think it still needs a lot of work. But at the same time, Bungie just really needs a win right now. After all the BS that's been going on there, I still think their leadership is just rotten to the core, and Sony should take it over. That is my opinion. I think Bungie as a company would run better if Sony did actually take it over. I mean, it can't run worse, right? It can't get any worse than what Bungie are running this as. But yeah, that's my opinion. I mean, I know a lot of people at the moment are talking about the character designs. I actually quite like them. I think they look cool. They suit the setting. But I'm also seeing the usual outfits out there. SJ, Grums, and the works. Why aren't they in bikinis? Why aren't they in thongs? I mean, how could that work in this game? So I'm not even going to entertain that. That's just dumb. And anyone that comes up and says that is dumb too. I'm going to put that out there straight. But I just found this really boring. I really did. Like, there was so much that they could have done to portray this in a much better light. And in the end, all they did was present something with so small amounts of gameplay. You know, they could have just presented this in a much better way. And they didn't. And it's so disappointing. People just wanted just proper gameplay. Not quick snippets here, quick snippets there. I get Bungie is the king when it comes to these trailers. It works really well with Destiny. But the guy that they hired for Destiny to do their trailers, he did this. I'm 100% sure he worked or she worked on this one. It didn't work. It didn't work because this isn't that sort of game. And for the longest time, we've been hearing Marathon, how it's been rebooted, how it's changed. You know, the version that creators like Astacross would have played wouldn't be this version of the game. I'm pretty sure if you go watch any of his latest videos talking about this, I'm almost guaranteed he's going to say that this is different to the version he played. I'm almost guaranteeing it at this point because of just the amount of trouble this game has had and changes it's had. There's no way they would have all tested it at the same, you know, the best build, the right build, I should say. But either way, I think this game is going to be a very 50-50 chance, which is a lot better than other games would normally get. I really hope that it's going to, you know, succeed out the door. But at the same time, it really is dependent on how they deliver this game. The alpha is going to be very telling. It is going to be very soon. You do have to be in the US or Canada to take part. Personally, I was disappointed in what I saw. I found it very boring. I found it very mundane, not exciting, and kind of just... I don't want to say it, but meh. And I'd much rather they pull the reins a little, push the date back if they have to, and, you know, deliver a better showing than what we had here. And maybe they will later down the line. But right now, I've got zero excitement for this game. I'd love to try it when it comes out. I'd love the game to prove me wrong. I'd love to turn around and say, do you know what, guys? I'm actually totally wrong. I'm really enjoying this as someone that doesn't like extraction shooters at all. So, you know, I'll be fair with it. If it's a good game, it's a good game. Right? I'll be fair. Even if it isn't for me, I'll still give credit where credit's due. I'm just not seeing that here. But I really hope for their sake that they can turn it around and deliver a great product. Because Bungie does, at least for the developers that are still there, they need a damn win, man. They need that win. But anyway, folks, that's the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that discussion. And I'll see you in the next one. Remain legend.